Ladies and gents, welcome back. Ivermectin is in the news this morning because a study has been completed on its efficacy with COVID-19 patients. We have Eric Weinstein taking to Twitter this morning. This gives me no pleasure. I have more to say at some point, but I really haven't enjoyed the ivermectin conversation, the abuse being called cowardly for not supporting ivermectin as a cure, etc. The certainty never made sense. Apologies, welcome. Now, before we get into the study itself, let's have a look at the controversy. The controversy being that people were calling it a horse dewormer, and this was spread by the mainstream media, of course. Ivermectin this is an anti-parasitic drug after its discovery in 1975. So this is an old drug out of patent, and this is why it was so promising. Was people around the world would be able to use a drug so cheaply because it's been out of patent for so long. Its first uses were in veterinary medicine, and this is where the horse dewormer thing comes from. It's still used in veterinary medicine, but as people know, mammals are animals that live on the land and breathe air. They can use medicine that, you guessed it, humans can also use because we're also mammals. So it was approved for human use in 1987. Today it's used to treat infestations including head lice, scabies, river blindness, amongst many, many others. Now, the ivermectin itself, in 2015, Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine was awarded to William C. Campbell and Satoshi Omura for their discovery leading to ivermectin back in the 1970s. So this has been a revolutionary drug, and it's been helpful in so many ways. And the controversy being that some doctors were prescribing this off-label to COVID-19 patients in the hopes, in the early days of COVID-19, that this drug may be effective because it had been effective in other similar situations. Now, the mainstream media ran with this narrative that it's veterinary medicine. It's never been used in humans. Why would humans use this, and why would doctors recommend it? Which, of course, is bollocks. I mean, I don't know how there's a better word for it. And famously, there was an exchange between Sanjay Gupta, who's a doctor for CNN, and Joe Rogan, when Joe Rogan was being accused of taking horse dewormer on CNN. And so Joe Rogan decided to confront him on this.
Horse dewormer's not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing. That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making the
Nobel Prize
in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is.
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like, I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem, that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude.
I mean, what did they say?
They lied
What did
and
they
said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
They
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch
horse.
of other
if
medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking it, the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease. And as you say, it's probably, I think what, 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
way more.
So
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two
No.
things on the ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before coming on your podcast.
But they did it with such glee.
Yeah, you should have asked. Doctor on CNN. But most people know exactly why they lied, because this is an off-label drug that's out of patent, and CNN is famous for who sponsors them.
America is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference.
I mean, I can let that go on all day long, but that's the controversy surrounding ivermectin. Now, a study did come out just yesterday, and it's now making the rounds online. And this is the study that came out of Brazil. The effect of early treatment with ivermectin among patients with COVID-19. Background: the efficacy of ivermectin in preventing hospitalization or extended observation in an emergency setting among outpatients with acute symptomatic coronavirus disease COVID-19, the disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome COVID-2 is unclear. The methods used here. So essentially, it gets into very fine detail, but I'll give you an overview. The methods here used, they conducted a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled, adaptive platform trial involving symptomatic SARS-CoV-2 positive adults recruited from 12 public health clinics in Brazil, patients who had symptoms of COVID-19 for up to 7 days and had at least one risk factor for disease progression were randomly assigned to receive ivermectin 40 UG per kilogram of body weight once daily for 3 days, or a placebo. So this is a double-blind study. This is how science is done. This isn't some news media joke study, right? A total of 3,515 patients were randomly assigned to receive, and this is broken down into groups, right? So 679 received the ivermectin, 679 received a placebo, 2,157 received some other intervention. Overall, patients, so 14% in the ivermectin group had a primary outcome event. So these are the events that took place apart from just recovering, straight up, just from recovering. So 14% of those people had a primary outcome event, as compared with the 16% in the placebo group. And of the 211 primary outcome events, 81% were hospital admissions. Findings were similar to the primary analysis in a modified intention to treat analysis that included only patients who received at least one dose of ivermectin or placebo. Sorry, there's a lot in brackets here. And in a per protocol analysis that included only patients who reported 100% adherence to the assigned regimen, there were no significant effects of ivermectin use on secondary outcomes or adverse events. Conclusion: treatment with ivermectin did not result in lower incidence of medical admission to a hospital due to progression of COVID-19 or of prolonged emergency department observation among outpatients with an early diagnosis of COVID-19. And this was funded by FAST grants and the Rainwater Charitable Foundation, together clinicaltrials.gov. And there's the number. I'm definitely going to leave the link to this study in to this paper here in the description down below. But that's the study, and it's showing no clear indication that ivermectin has any effect on people who are given it as early treatment for COVID-19. Now that that doesn't excuse people calling it horse paste. Understand this. Even though it does not, it's not showing any results with COVID-19, the narrative of it being only veterinary medicine is just completely untrue. So this is what is leading to the degradation of trust in medicine and trust in media, trust in authority, essentially across the globe. People are seeing what the narrative is and how ridiculous the narrative is compared to just being told the truth. Now, if people weren't lied to so blatantly, people would have a lot more trust in institutions. So overall, this is a loss for mankind as a whole, because if we can't trust the people who are supposed to be experts in the fields, that's not good for anyone. Anyway, that was as much news as I have on this at the moment. I'll keep you guys tuned. I'll keep you guys filled in on this information as it comes in. Anyway, keep on trucking.